Edit. Righty, hobby stream. Vulture Continues. Okay, there we go. Got that. Looks like that's good to go. Just gotta let everybody know that I am going live. So I'm gonna post this a couple of places. As per usual. I want to just let people know that I am streaming. I have got this beautiful vulture that we're gonna get painting. It's very exciting. I think we're gonna be working on the back part today. So that could be what we do. We could also go in and add some stripes to the feathers. Not sure exactly where we're gonna end up. We've made some pretty good feathers progress already. I want to say, not sure exactly where we're gonna end. We can, you know, we can continue. We can add more detail. I really want to see how the lollipop stripes are gonna look when I start putting them in. I'm very excited about that. So that might be something we do tonight, but I think I should be responsible and finish all these little tiny knickknacks in there. I should change my paint water. I think I'm gonna do that while people are getting here. Because that's probably, you know, not too great to look at my very gross old crusty paint water. So let me just announce that I am doing a stream to people. And then I will, I'll get some new paint water and we'll be good to go. Alright. Let me set that down. Let the good people of the world know. Alright, we've got that. Gonna publish it. Gonna let some of the other folks know that I am going to be doing some streaming. We love that. Alright. And okay, gonna get this vulture going. I'm just changing my paint water, and then I'll be right back. Excited to see you all, and we'll get going. So just give me 1 second, and I will be right back. And if there's any camera issues, I will get those solved very shortly. Alright, fresh swamp water is achieved. Got that going for us. Everything seems to be okay. Let's see. Camera should be active. Doesn't seem like there's too many problems. But we're a little slow. So let me just close out of things. See if we can get that going a little bit faster for you guys. Let's see. Okay, there might be a little bit of buffering. Hopefully that goes away. Closed out of the programs, so we should, we should be fine there. It may just take a minute or two. Be patient with it while it figures itself out. I certainly have to be patient with myself. Pull out some more desk just so we have room for all of the mess that I consistently make. I'm not a very neat or clean painter. Although I do think my paint palette is getting to the point where I will show you how I'm going to clean it out. Because I was talking about that before and I was like, there's not really enough layers of paint and crust on there for me to show you how I get that cleaned up. So we'll see if I can make that happen in a little bit for you guys, and you can get the authentic me cleaning a paint palette experience that truly everybody is looking for in their hobby stream. But today I'm gonna stop being lazy about all these little details and get different colors filled in for the little pouches and liquids, and it looks like he's got some onions hanging on there. Just all these little knickknacks that need to be painted. So see what we can do about getting them to look more like objects and less like just random plastic. My one friend is very nice. Her name is Rachel, and she's come over and we've played this board game called Townsfolk Tussle a couple of times. You saw me unbox it on another stream that I did, but haven't had the chance to paint any of the minis, but I did give them a Zenithal Prime just to kind of highlight the detail. She keeps saying she likes it with just a Zenithal Prime, but I know that I want to get those guys painted up sometime soon. Hello, Chris. Welcome to the stream. Happy to see you here. How is life treating you on this fine Tuesday? Hope you're doing well. That shit fire? I don't know what shit you're talking about. If your day was fire, that's awesome. I've never heard someone be so psyched on a random Tuesday, but I'm here for it. If you're talking about my miniature, then thank you very much. I appreciate it. If you're talking about the board game Townsfolk Tussle that I was mentioning earlier, yes, that shit is fire. I've played it twice now, and I very much want to play it again. I just have to wait till my friends are in town and not doing anything, because sometimes adults are responsible and they have other shit to do than play board games all day. Unlike me, I'm a giant nerd with almost nothing going on, so I sometimes play board games all day. What did I do today? I went to my day job, which is work from home, so I didn't leave the house. I hung out with my friend Mark right after work. We played some Dead by Daylight. I was still very bad at it, so I didn't leave the house for that either. And now I'm sitting here painting this guy. Oh, the mini, yes, it is a very, very good sculpt. Paint job's starting to look the way I want to. So he's coming along. I'm pretty excited. Trying to finish up these kind of pesky random details in the back just so I don't have to worry about them for too much longer. I keep forgetting that they're there, and I'll be like, this mini looks great. I'm so happy with it. I'm so glad with how everything's coming along. It looks so cool, and then I turn it to the back, and it doesn't look as cool. Your day was fine. You got like 3 games last weekend. Nice. Nice. That's a pretty solid weekend for gaming. I thought I was good. I got in 2, but 3 definitely beats me out. I was so close to winning a game in my escalation league this weekend. And And I had selected in Age of Sigmar, I chose the cut off the head grand strategy, which I thought was just slaying the warlord, but you check the wording on it, and it's kill every hero on the enemy team. And I chose that one like a dum-dum. And I did kill the general, but I didn't kill every hero. And I could have achieved something like, I could have achieved Vendetta, because my general was still alive. Or the whatever the one is, it is where it's like, oh, if you have a monster at the end, then you get this one. But like a dummy, I didn't pick those. I just freaking didn't. And, yeah, my opponent beat me by 1 point because he achieved his grand strategy, and I didn't. It was an absolute heartbreaker, because he's the top person ranked in our little local league. I'm like 6th. I'm not, let's face it, I'm not winning this thing, but I would like to not come in last place. As long as that happens, I'll be okay with it. But it was heartbreaking for me to be so close, within a point. So all I can say is, if you're playing a game of Age of Sigmar in the next couple of days, choose your grand strategy very carefully so that it doesn't completely screw you up, like my choices did. Learn from my mistakes. Don't repeat them. Maybe you'll have a victory. Just gotta beat Nurgle. That's who I was playing, man. I was playing Nurgle. And Nurgle scares me. I don't like Nurgle. But our Nurgle player is pretty set to win the league quite handedly. He is several points ahead of everybody else. Honestly, I don't know if anyone can catch him, but it's very likely that our victor is either going to be Nurgle or OBR. So one of those is the most likely option. Lobster, don't jump on this table. I said don't jump on this table. Baby! Did you hear me when I said don't jump on the table? No. No, you didn't. Ooh, Chaos Undivided. Okay, yeah. That's cool. I've painted some Chaos models before. They're nice. Nurgle's so OP. That's what people say. And I don't, like, I'm not a stats person, so I can't generally tell you if, like, something's really overpowered or not. Here, I'm gonna show you how I clean my paint palette. People have all different kinds of methods, but I just dig a thumbnail in when I've built a nice caked on layer of dried up paint. And this is usually something I do when I'm just, like on the phone or something, and I need to fiddle with my hands. But you can just pry up this layer of caked on paint. You can pry up all the layers, and you get right back down to bare plastic. If it gets really bad, I'll get something to scrape it with or something like that, but generally speaking, I can get my nails under all the caked on paint and just pry it on up. It all comes off, and then I'll have a clean little paint well. That one is top layer wasn't quite thick enough, so I gotta dig a thumbnail under the bottom layer. It's weirdly satisfying to do, but I usually have to let quite a lot of paint build up, and then sometimes get one of these tools, this thingy. My thumb's not doing it, and this will pry it up real good. I think this is a sculpting tool, but yeah. That's how I clean them out. It's not very interesting, but I mean, that's effective as hell. It's a clean paint well. And you can just do it for all of them. Usually takes a couple of seconds. Takes you right back to the plastic underneath. So, you know. That's how my paint palettes take so much abuse, is me just constantly prying dried, caked on paint out from them. For now, I'm just going to set this in a drawer and hopefully remember to throw it away. But yeah, that's the basic idea of how I keep those clean. Using a carbon hobby blade, I'm sure that works too. Yep. I recently trimmed my nails. Usually they're a little bit longer, so it's a little bit easier, but using the little hooked sculpting tool is quite good for getting that. It'll get you every time. That's just some free hobby tips right there. If you can even consider that like a tip. I don't know that people are super obsessed with having cleaned palettes or anything like that, but if mine ever starts to bother me, I just give it a once over when I'm bored. I'm not gonna waste stream time cleaning out all of the wells, because I don't really think people want to spend time watching that. But you know, it's something more suited to like a 3-second TikTok video, something like that. It's quick, snappy, hot tip. There you go. Looks like there's some skulls on the back of this, so I'm just gonna hit them with the bone color so that they look like skulls. Trying to, you know, kind of see what all the different objects are. It looks like we got a feather, got a little bit of a pouch right there. It's got something inside, so I might just add that to kind of give it some depth. We'll have to paint all the strings. I think I might do a different color for the little leaves. And I'm gonna make the feather a pink feather, I think. Ooh, okay, cool. What are you planning on painting later? You stay off of the painting table, Lobster. You mischief. You mischief. I do also not always use the paint wells. Sometimes I'm just like, I only need a drop. I'm gonna put this on the other part of the paint palette thing. I think that's just as valid, you know? A good hobbyist invades every available surface with paint. Death marks. Okay. Alright. Sounds cool. Sounds pretty badass. I think that's like a knife stabbed in there. I'm gonna say it's a knife. It looks like a knife. I'm gonna paint it like a knife. Hope it's a knife. It's so hard for me to tell what all these little details are supposed to be when they don't have like a wash, and I'm just kind of like, this is probably that. I don't know. I don't know what it's supposed to be. You tell me. You get James Workshop down here and you tell me. You have like 7 armies? Damn, dude. That's awesome. I'm hoping that I have, in the end, enough funds to finish my army for the tournament that I want to go to. I talked some strategy, and the best strategist in our escalation league is like, you know, if you really want to do this, optimize this, you need to switch out your kiloboss and just take another unit of gut rippers. And I literally just bought gut rippers, but he's like, yeah, I know, but you're gonna want 4 units, not 3. I'm like, man. So yeah, I gotta see see about getting some more gut rippers and see if the army funding will come through for my boys. Otherwise, they're gonna be slightly subpar, which is fine. They don't have to be perfect, but I'd like to give it a proper go. Consequently, if anyone has some gut rippers that they don't need or want and are looking to sell them cheap, I do need some more boys in my life, apparently. That truly is the life of an orc hobbyist, is just more orcs, and when in doubt, more. That's horde armies, I guess. I always tell myself, you know, the next army, I'm going to pick something that isn't a horde army, so I don't have to repeat this procedure 1,000 times until I'm dead. But, yeah. That's just 40k. You play other games too? I try to. I definitely get some other games in. I like Blood Bowl, but I would like to learn some more games that are not Games Workshop games. I have a friend named Marty who likes board games. And it's really nice going over to his place because he already owns a bunch of board games, so I don't have to buy them. I can just enjoy playing them. I do want to sneak in to his house in the middle of the night and just paint all of his minis, though. He doesn't paint them, and I'm like, they would look nice if they were painted. Yep, more boys. Always more boys. So, yeah. We're gonna hopefully get some more. The tournament's a little ways off, so if I budget correctly, I should be able to get more boys. It's just a matter of, can I then build and... I mean, you guys saw how long it took me to build some of those boys. Can I build and paint the boys that I need in time? Who knows? Who knows? Certainly, I don't know. And I mean, I guess I could just get someone's, like, orcs from the Dominion box, because people are reselling those pretty cheap on eBay because, like, you know, they still have the Dominion box and can't seem to move it at stores. But I've painted those sculpts twice already, and the new box has so many flashy new options. So really, I should just suck it up, get the cheaper version because it's more affordable, and I'll still be able to, you know, run the army that I need. But silly me, I want it to look nice too, like some kind of nerd. Right. It's objects on that side. Need to get some of the wood there. They overdid the Dominion box. It's unfortunate. It's not a bad box, and it's not a bad value for what you get in the box, but stores can't get rid of it now, which is unfortunate. Like, even my local game store is like, this is 40% off now, because we don't want to have it on the shelves anymore. So, I don't know if they're, like, taking a loss on it, selling it that cheap. I don't think they are. I think they might just be selling it at, like, cost and not making a profit off of it, but it's not working out. Oh, our store sold so much Indominus. They had a huge pile of pre-orders for Indominus. But I think they thought that Dominion would sell as well as Indominus did. And for whatever reason, I don't get it, because I think I prefer to play Age of Sigmar. I think it's the better of the two games. But I guess it doesn't sell as well as 40k does. So, I mean, I'm not a store owner or a marketing executive, thank God. Because I'd be terrible at both of those jobs. But, yeah, it's sad. Cool. So it looks like we've got most of those little objects, just a couple little metal ones to hit, and then that'll be done. I can start figuring out what I want to do on the feathers. I think that's mostly what I'm going to be tackling tonight. I should probably, you know, do some cleanups, because I hate doing that, and it's so necessary to having a good looking finished model that I should knock that out, but we'll see. We'll see. Oh, I need to pick out what color liquid that's going to be too. Probably just put like an ochre in there and say it's some kind of beer or ale or something or other. I don't know. I don't know. Hi, Josh. Welcome to the stream. Good to see you here. AOS is a classy choice. Thanks. I like to think so. It's a gentleman's game. We all, you know, sit around and discuss matters of high society while pushing our tiny miniatures around the table. I could get used to that. I'd like a smoking jacket with little, like, goblins embroidered on it. I think that that could be very classy. Speaking of jackets, I did go to Target with a friend the other day, specifically because someone had posted a video about how all of Target's new clothing line just looked terrible. Like, they were just like, all of this just looks like stuff that an old person would wear. Like, there was this jacket that looked like it was just made out of a quilt. And I love wearing clothing that other people consider ugly. I don't know what it is. I just adore it. So when I saw that there was a jacket that just looked like it was made out of a quilt, I had to have one. And I sent a video of it to my friend, and we went out. And they were already moved into the clearance section, but I got my damn quilt jacket. It is hideous. It's terrible. It almost doesn't quite fit me right. Like, it fits in a weird way, but it's not a bad way. But I have that now as part of my arsenal of strange clothing. And it does make me very happy, so I'm quite pleased. Yeah. Okay, cool. Those little tiny things. So, what I'm going to do, I think, is just see if I can get a reference pulled up for the specific lollipops that I am dealing with. Let me make sure my computer is muted, so if I play something, you guys don't have to hear the song from Willy Wonka in there while I find a picture of those lollipops that I'm working with. And I will see about getting that put up on the screen somehow so that you can see the very specific lollipops that I referenced. Yeah, there they are. As I am painting. I'm not a crazy person. I did, however, I did show, like, let's see. Trying to get this. Hang on. I know how to do stuff and be professional. Doop. Doop. Doop, doop, doop. Doop, 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 doop. Okay. Let's see, is that even gonna work? No. Maybe? I don't know that that's gonna work.
You booked
Nope,
a sunny
that's not
Verbo
gonna
ski
be a still
chalet
image. That's
with
just
endless
gonna
views of
keep
snow-covered
going.
peaks.
Sorry
But the
about
thing you'll
that.
remember forever, Grandpa coming out of her...
I'll just take a screen capture like a normal standard human would do. That would make sense. And that way you can see what I'm talking about. But I did tell my gaming club that I was working with some very specific lollipops, not just any generic ones. And one of my favorite people to play against was just like, that just makes it better. That not only are you painting a vulture that's going to be a lollipop vulture, no, you have a hyper specific lollipop that like a special one that's just the one that you want for this thing. And I'm glad that there is a place where I can be appreciated for that instead of judged. I think that's really important. There it is. Okay, let's shrink that down a bit. Let's get that put over here. Alright. So you can see the exact lollipops that I'm going for up in the corner there. That should be updated. Yep, the Candyman can. Exactly. I feel like I'm in good company. So I think we're going to try, because the lollipops in the image, which hopefully will pop up there, maybe, they're a bit more like reddish, so I think we'll do some stripes with this scar tissue color and hope for the best. And then maybe we'll do another pink as well. But I don't know. Don't know how this is going to look once I apply it. If I'm going to like it, or if I'm going to be like, this is terrible, and I hate it. Because it can be hard to tell these things before you commit to the bit, so... This is me trying something out and figuring out if this works or not. And if it does work, I then have to do this for at least all of the big feathers and kind of dot it around some of the smaller ones. It's going to add a level of detail to this. But the big question is that, like, do I feel satisfied with that? Is that a good payoff for the time investment? I think it's going to be, because this is, like, my favorite model that Games Workshop has ever made, so I really want to do a good job painting it. But, I'm also realizing that the judgment portion for, my local Escalation League is coming to an end. We kind of have a final coming up, like, I think I'm gonna try this pixie pink too. Let's see what we get. See if that might be a little bit more reddish pink. Or I'm just gonna spray all the medium out of it. But the judgment for best painting is gonna be happening soon, because we are reaching our final points value that we are escalating to. Our 1,500 point update is the next one to happen, and then that's it for our league anyway. That's where they are capping out. I have to go all the way to 2,000 for the tournament that I'm going to be playing in. But yeah, it's kind of crazy. Been working with the Escalation League as a motivator to paint for so long. I'm gonna miss having that. So I think the league organizer is setting up a Path to Glory army, or a Path to Glory like tournament or stuff, whatever kind of play style that is next. But I'm not sure. I've just had so much fun, and my goal before my life kind of fell apart was to be able to win Best Painted at my local league. That was kind of my goal. I don't think, you know, going to a big tournament, I have no hopes of winning Best Painted when people are spending 400 plus hours on their single models. But I thought maybe at the local level I could achieve it. And then my life kind of went sideways for a little bit, and I'm working on getting that all back together. But I'd really like to have my army completed the way that I originally intended it, to submit to be judged for that. So I'm hoping that I can get it finished in time and that it'll look good. You're coming to my local league just to give me a challenge? Okay. Okay. Sure. You come on down. I'd be happy to see you there. Give me a run for my money. I'm here for it. There's a ton of talented painters there and some talented players though, so you're gonna have to work for it. Can't just show up with nothing and prepared to get handed the win. If you want it, you're gonna have to fight not only me for it, but all of the people that I've been playing against. Some very, very talented folks. I know that trick, Josh. I know better than to give out my address on a live stream. Don't dox yourself, kids. So that's how you get moited. Plus, you know, you'd have to be within the Midwestern United States for that to be viable, and I don't know if you want to be there. You're neither a good player or painter? Well, let me tell you, you're gonna struggle then to beat anybody out of the position in the league. I mean, we've got someone, I'm very, very afraid to go up against our league organizer's army for Best Painted. If I were voting for Best Painted, his models are so clean and the bases are so cool, I'd be really tempted to vote for his. And they're Lumineth, too. They're elves. I don't even like elves. They just look so cool. He cares about them so much. He's made up his own lore for them, I think. Okay. I'm thinking that maybe something like that is going to be okay for the feather, and then I'm going to come in and add some white striping, maybe? Maybe? Is that feather giving you lollipop vibes? I hope so. I hope so. I think I want to try the one next to it and see if I can get just some, because the lollipops in that video, the brown ones have kind of like a cream detail on them, but just the one color. So I'm gonna try a cream pattern on these ones and see if I like that. Maybe I need to make it thinner. I'm worried it might be too thick, but I want it to also kind of read like the pattern a bird could have. Or I'm gonna just dip my fingers into paint. That's a classic. Chris is giving out his address for free. There you go. There you go. You can go play Warhammer with Chris. Excellent. Excellent. Thanks for providing that. You go. You have fun. Be responsible. Don't do anything that I wouldn't do. And all those other cliches. The thing of it is, right, if I decide that I'm going to buy more boys for this army, which it is very likely that I'm going to try and scrape that together and do, I still have an unpainted squad of boys that I need to finish. I need to finish the bases for pretty much every model that I have painted for like the past 3 or 4 months, something like that, because they're supposed to have this resin pour grape soda swamp look to their base. And I did the resin pours for like 13 of them, and then it took forever, and I was like, I'm just gonna do one big resin pour at the end, and get all of them. This was before I had painted any of the hobgrots and realized that they come 20 to a squad, so that is a lot of resin to mix up and pour and hopefully have set correctly. So I've got to decide if the hobgrots will also be getting resin on their bases or not. I feel like it would be extremely rude to leave them out, because they are, you know, they're still important members of this army, but it's also like, there's fucking 40 of you. It's gonna take a lot of time. And a lot of resin. What do you guys think? What do you think of the brown feather with the pink one? Does that look good? Are you believing that? Is that giving you lollipops from that one specific scene in Willy Wonka vibes? I really hope that it is. I don't know if it's there for me yet. Let's see. I think that taking a look at the image, it looks like the orange one has like kind of darker, like a burnt orange stripe, so I might try Scrag Brown, I think would probably be the closest to burnt orange I have. Maybe Tau Ochre, a classic from my arsenal. Try this one. Might be dried out. It is not dried out. Haha. Sounds of Pain on 25mm bases? Mm-hmm. You know that's right. Absolutely. Oh, that's like the perfect color. Tau Ochre. Why did I ever doubt you? You are perfect. You are always the color that I need. Cheeto dust when I want it, but up against this orange. The perfect butterscotch. How could I have doubted you? Truly, truly foolish of me. But yeah, so the fact that, you know, I'm about to spend, I don't know, 3, 4, 7 hours painting stripes on these feathers, painting stripes on the body, doing all of the, you know, I'd call it painting grunt work, but I honestly really like this part of the paint job where I just get to go ham on the details. That's gonna factor into all of the time I have left to, you know, finish the entire army. And I gotta be honest with you, I'm slightly concerned about it. Just slightly. Just slightly. It's such a good color. One of my favorite paints, hand down. And the coverage is always great with this too. Which is not true of every paint that I like. Sometimes I'm like, and the coverage of this is abysmal. And I know, what right have I to speak when I just kind of slap color on any which way, but you best believe there's some thought to it at some point. It's one thick coat, but I thought about that coat. Alright, so that's looking like, you guys think that's it? Those ones there? I mean, they already look better than their counterparts. Are Are they giving you lollipop vibes? Like, I know no one's gonna be like, oh my gosh, were you inspired by that one very specific scene in this movie? I know that's not realistic to assume that someone's gonna come up to me and say. But, no, we're not doing a 7-hour stream. Not today. I'm just saying 7 hours, collectively is what it'll take me to get this done. I can't do a 7-hour stream on a weekday because I have this obnoxious thing called a full-time job that, you know, that's not gonna work. Hi, Jammin' Haze. Welcome to the stream. Your 2mm pouch is looking Gucci right now? Excellent. Fantastic. If you're painting stuff at the 2mm scale, dang. What are you like? That's tiny, right? That's minuscule. What, you got a microscope over there that you painting that with? Somebody posted a comment earlier on one of my previous live streams saying that they didn't think that this Vulture qualified as a mini. They were saying it qualified as like a medium-y, which I thought was funny. He is pretty big for a mini. But you know, if you took the orc in isolation and popped him on a base, he'd be to scale with the rest of the orcs, which feels very important to me. Nano Scale. Nano Scale? Yeah, that's teeny tiny. Itty bitty. That's like those people who are sitting there painting people's names on grains of rice. I don't know how that's done. But that's, if you're painting at that level, like, get out of here. You're too talented. What you watching me slap paint directly from the pot unthinned onto this Vulture for? Not that I intend to chase you away. You are welcome at this stream. Anyone of any skill level is, but just know that, like, I have questions about how you chose to develop that particular skill in this very niche hobby. Questions I would one day love answers to. Trying to paint like some of the sections a little bit thicker, some of them a little bit thinner, to mimic the variety of stripes one might have in a lollipop, and I don't think I'm achieving that at all. But that's okay. Nature is imperfect when it makes lollipop vultures, so I'm just being realistically imperfect when I paint them. That's what it says in the science textbooks. It's a fact. Maxiture? That could work. I don't love it. Kind of sounds just, you know, like a weird made-up corporate word like synergy or something like that. But maxiture does kind of have like that, the same as like miniature with the ature at the end. That, yeah, I understand that. I see the etymology, is that what they say, of where that name came from? You can trace its origin. What was the question you just asked about painting? Oh, I don't know what I just said. I was probably saying something about how I don't understand, like, you know, at, like, fairs and stuff like that, or I guess maybe theme parks, but anywhere that they have, like, just people doing weird stuff that, like, will attract your attention for, like, 4 seconds, touristy kind of stuff, they'll have people who can, like, paint your name on a grain of rice or something like that. And I don't know what it is that they do that, but that's got to take some, like, extremely specialized talent. And I was saying I don't know how people can do that. I don't know if that's something that everybody is aware of, that, like, happens in this world. People just have that. It's like kind of like a fairground hustle. It's the best way I can describe that. I see it for like touristy kind of places and stuff like that. But you know, yeah, it's weird. You're trying to hydrate your wet palette. It's important to keep both yourself and your wet palette hydrated, so definitely do both of those things. I just hope that I don't tip the scales from candy on this guy into like Alice in Wonderland territory, because don't get me wrong, love that. Happy with some classic Disney. But Cheshire Cat is not the vibe I want to go for on this. So if I start to veer too much into that territory, somebody tell me so I can know and then pull myself back from the edge. Because I think I'm going to start and just, you know, now that I have the color palette that I want to do is, excuse me, established, I'm going to do all the pink, do all the brown, do all the orange. You know how it goes. Oh, I've got some water. I should hydrate as well. I recently moved to a new place and the tap water's like okay, but it's not great. So I need to get like one of those Brita filters or a fancy pitcher that does the water filtering or something like that. 'Cause I feel bad buying, you know, bottled water and drinking that, but just, I don't love the taste of the water coming from the tap, so gonna be pretentious, and it's like on my list of stuff that I have to buy eventually, and I just haven't done it yet. Seem to not ever want to drink just like room temperature water. I'm like, excuse me, this isn't cold. Need it ice cold. I took a trip to New York a few years ago, like 2018, I think. It was either 2018 or 2019 before the pandemic. They kept bringing me water with no ice cubes in it, and I was like, what is this? What? I need my water freezing, thank you. Kept having to ask for ice cubes, which I suppose is probably a normal thing to do some places, but it had never occurred to me because everywhere else I had lived, it just happened. Everything came iced, so that was one of the biggest questions I had about that vacation, was just like, why no ice though? Yes, I'm always looking for a new series to watch, and yes, I do have Netflix. I had been, because I like watching cooking shows when I'm like half awake, just to like have some noise going, something to watch with my cereal. And then I'll usually watch like something that's actually good at my lunch break or before I go to bed. So I'm always looking for something new. I just finished watching The Final Table, the first season of that on Netflix, and I did not like it. Didn't think it was a fun competition show. The host was like a store brand Ryan Seacrest, and I already thought Ryan Seacrest was just a store brand of another like personality that he could have been, so it was a tough get through. But I did do that. It was alright. I mean, it's a cooking competition show. I cannot expect the world from it, but that was what I most recently finished on Netflix. And then I started watching Dark Crystal Age of Resistance again on Netflix because yes, Jim Henson knew what he was doing when he made all those puppets, and to see that legacy continued in such a stunning series, that's a cool one. I could go on about that for hours, really. Hours. I think my camera may have died for a second. Let me see if it comes back. Let me know. I think we might have had a blip, but I think I'm back. Am I back? I'm gonna wave my hand, and and hopefully see that on screen soon. Oh yeah, Great British Bake Off is the best. I think I've watched every season of Great British Bake Off that I could get my hands on multiple times, and they took the good seasons off of Great British Bake Off. Like, the Nadia season is the best one, and it's not on there anymore. Like, what? People should have a right to access that. It's so positive. It's so wholesome. All of my favorite contestants are on those first couple of seasons. Love Great British Bake Off. Nadia is great. Tamal is fantastic. I love Tamal. He's so good. And then I love Ruby the one season, because she's just like so down on herself about everything, and she's just like, yeah, I'm in college, so I don't have time to practice everything, so it's gonna be crap anyway. And then the judges try it, and they're like, this is amazing, and then she just looks shocked about it, and I'm like, yes. Also, I love how, like, 40 of them all have dogs named Hamish. Like, that's just a thing. That you see their little bio, and they're just like, yep, this is my dog, Hamish, and I'm like, okay. And you know, it's just like, yeah. Like, no other reality show is like, this is my cute family and my dog, and I'm just here to cry about the technical and bake a cake and try my best. I think that show, really, it's nice because sometimes you get to see stuff that people worked really hard at and practiced for hours turn out amazing. And other times, they're just staring at a piece of paper like, what the fuck do these instructions actually mean? And I feel like that is just very indicative of me trying to paint a mini and then trying to assemble a mini. Like, the technical challenge is getting a brand new on the sprue box. Yes, I've been meaning to watch Archive 81. Now, I think it's well documented to those who are frequent viewers of this channel, or just me in general, or these podcasts, that I love deeply a podcast called the Magnus Archives, which is not, I want to clarify, not what Archive 81 is based off of, but when I saw the previews for it, I was like, oh my gosh, that looks like something that is vaguely Magnus Archives inspired. And while I can't prove that because I believe it's just a different podcast that they made into a show, I am excited to try watching it. So, if you're vouching for it, I'll move that one higher up on the list of stuff to watch. Because I gained access to Disney Plus, so I was kind of debating whether I was going to go down the Archive 81 or Book of Boba Fett route. So, we'll see if maybe Archive 81 will win that internal debate for me. I'll watch the first episode of either Archive 81 or Book of Boba Fett tonight, so that if I stream again this week, I'll give you my thoughts. You can come back for that. You made a Christmas galette from the Great British Bake Off. That's awesome. I have tried to make recipes from the Great British Bake Off. They don't turn out the way that I want them to ever. I'm not good at doing the recipe conversions from, like, weights and British measurements into American ones, and then I have no patience. Like, I got inspired to bake bread after watching the Great British Bake Off, and I can bake bread. Like, that's pretty simple. It's a little hard to fuck up, because most of the time you're just letting it sit there and rest. And if you're not trying to do anything fancy, like I wasn't trying to do any sourdoughs, nothing shaped, just standard loaf of bread with some rosemary baked into it and some melted butter brushed over the top with a sprinkle of salt. Easy as can be. Simple, tasty, good stuff. But then I saw them all making those poached pears one time with, like, puff pastry wrapped around the outside, and I was like, oh, Man, that looks good. I've got to try that now. And I did not wait for those pears to poach nearly long enough. And they were extremely difficult to eat. And they did not turn out nearly as beautiful as the ones on TV. And then I said, wow, Fives, maybe either decide to have some patience or stop trying to be the Great British Bake Off, because you're not. That's not where your skill level is. I haven't attempted a recipe since then, from the Great British Bake Off, but maybe I should. Maybe I'll gain that back. Should this become a baking channel? Is that where we're gonna go next? Seems like it could be a logical step. I already have the sugar and candy in my title, so if I bake a miniature cake, that would qualify. I could do a Warhammer-inspired cake. It wouldn't turn out. I have no cake decorating skills. But trying new things is how we learn. Oh, let's see. Archive 81 seems like the Call of Cthulhu game made into a show. Okay, that's cool. And they talk about Secret of Nim? Alright. Alright. You've convinced me. Tonight, after I finish painting this miniature, Josh, I will be watching the first episode of Archive 81. If it's good, maybe I'll be watching the second episode of Archive 81. So I've made my decision. That'll be the next one I try and tackle. In between episodes of Jujutsu Kaisen, which I can only seem to watch in parts because it's one of those animes that moves very fast, and if I think about it too much, like, I'll get a little bit of a headache trying to keep up with it all. So I usually do about one episode of that every few days, making my way through that anime. Your wife got you one of those connected hot mitts that they use? Oh, that's cool. If there is a freehand cupcake on this guy, I didn't paint it. If you're talking about this little symbol on his tail, it's actually like a hand, and it's just sculpted into the miniature. All of the, like, big creatures in this army have them. Hang on, I'll grab another one so that you can see. Can see what they are. Might be a little fuzzy quality on the camera, but let's get it. You've got another symbol on this guy. This is the Killaboss on Great Gashtooth. He's got this one there, and I'll probably I might color the inside of the symbol like I did for him. But he's got his little symbol there. And then on our most recent guy who just needs the base done, we've got that red symbol there. Which I think is kind of like a trident of some sort. I don't really... Or maybe it's like a cage, because he's got these cages hanging off of him. So it could be a cage. But yeah, the big beasties, they tend to have these symbols carved into them. I haven't quite found a way to make that wholesome-ish and not cruel for my weirdly wholesome cruel boys. I'm working on it. Haven't quite figured that one out yet. I'll get back to you. But I mean, they probably just don't want people stealing their pets. Your brand is minis and barbecue, so you can do Warhammer and baking. Yeah, I mean, that sounds dope as hell. To both be playing Warhammer and have some delicious barbecue. I'd do that. For sure. Let me get this camera into a position where it's not in my face. Okay. So now for these little feathers, I'm not going to try and be too precise because they're tiny and the details will take me forever. So I've gotta kind of pick my battles with what's going to get actual time put into it for these ones. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm trying to paint at the highest level I possibly can for this miniature. Unfortunately, that level is not very high, and my patience will run out, and I have to get it done in time for events and stuff, so all these little compromises have to be made at some point. Beer holder, barbecue, and hobbies. Follow you on Instagram and Twitter? Yeah, absolutely. If I don't already follow you, Josh, and I may not, because I don't have a Twitter, and I don't always... No, I feel like I definitely follow you. You have, like, a cute little, like, beer thing as your Instagram icon, don't you? I feel like I remember that. You're always liking all of my posts, by the way, which makes me feel good about my life and choices and decision to post both photos of my miniatures and photos of my cats. Yep. I remember you. I remember you, Josh. I just had to, because your YouTube icon isn't the same one as your Instagram one. So I didn't have that immediate connection in my brain of, oh yeah, that's the guy that does the thing. But I have that now. That's in my brain, and I'm not gonna forget. Just a brief step away so I can grab my phone charger so my phone doesn't die. Gotta get that there. Gotta not get the phone cord caught in the paint. There we go. That seems to be good. Okay. Hopefully nothing will get tangled in the paint now. Oh, I had an alert come up. Let's see. I think everything's still connected. Hoping everything's still connected. Yeah, connecting the dots. Sorry if I don't immediately recognize who you are. I do my best, but I am a very fallible human, so there's only so much that can be stored up in this tiny brain of mine. Sometimes it's not always usernames and icons and the things I should be remembering. Sometimes it is just the point cost of my army. And we work with that as best we can. Lobster. Sir? Gonna invade? Could you... Yep. Okay. Goodbye, sir. Oh, you tried to steal some paint. Thank you for that. Put that back on the table. I'm just going to add more of this pink in on these feathers. Too lazy to change the YouTube icon? That is fair enough. Is fair enough. I don't blame you. I have this little goblin guy as my logo, and that is good enough for me. I feel like the little alien goblin man, he communicates everything that I need to about my brand as a whole. Cute, pastel, a little bit weird. That's what we're going for. Maybe one day I'll replace it with a drawing of this orc on a vulture that's like super, super cutesy. But for now I'm just gonna stick with what I got. Plus, I did draw the logo myself, and it's one of the drawings I did in college that I'm still pretty proud of. I like it a lot, so I don't feel a strong need to change it. Really excited about Archive 81 now. I'm gonna put in some good painting hours, but it's so nice to like have a time where you're like, all right, I've been painting for a couple of hours, I'm done, gonna give myself a treat. It's probably gonna be ice cream, and then just watch a little bit of a show, settle in for the night. Like, I was kind of planning to stream on Monday, and then I just settled into the couch and started rewatching this Finnish cartoon that I love called The Moomins. It's just really, like, it's clearly targeted at a younger audience, and that's fine. But it's sweet and wholesome, and I just love it. And I started crocheting again. I've been trying to finish this blanket I've been crocheting for, like, I don't know, like 2 or 3 years now. And having the motivation to pick that back up and start working on it again, that was pretty cool. Had myself a little bit of tea. It was just cozy. It was just cozy. Everybody needs a cozy night every now and again. In other good news, I have been working on a new video. Almost got all the footage I need done for it, so that's very exciting. I know I haven't made one in a little while, but it's coming. Yeah, Goober knows, Moomin Troll, exactly. You're exactly right. In fact, I have some Moomin items around my house because I'm such a big fan that occasionally when I had my higher paying job that I used to have, and I would get bonuses, or it'd be like Christmas or something, and someone would, like my extended family would be like, what do you want for Christmas? I'd ask for things that were Moomin themed, because paying for shipping from Sweden then was pretty pricey. I can only imagine how much worse it's gotten now. But I have my relationship with the Moomins as a cartoon. I actually bought for 50 cents as a kid. I bought 2 cups with the Moomins on them at a yard sale. And they're like the proper collectible Arabia Moomin cups that people do actually have collections of. I just bought them as a kid because I was like, oh my gosh, cute cartoon characters on a thing, must have. And then they sat in my room for years, and I would just drink like lemonade out of them and stuff. And then one day I had the wherewithal to look at the bottom of the cup when I was like packing or just reorganizing my room, and I saw that, and I was like, I wonder if there are more of these, or what like Moomin is, if that's like the designer or whoever. And I found out it was a whole little cartoon, and I got into that world and had a really nice time. Your house is full of Moomins? Hell yes! Bro, that's the dream! I wish my house was full. I've actively been working to make my house full of Moomin things, and you're just taking it for granted over there. Some of us had to work hard for our Moomins, okay? I have 2 sets of Moomin, like, bedspread sheets kind of thing, and it's not enough. I'd love to have one for every season of the year, but they pricey, and I broke, so that doesn't happen. Especially having Warhammer as a hobby, like, I've had to stop acquiring Moomin collectibles in order to support my army. So, you know, once the war is over, maybe I can go back to buying cute shit with little trolls and guys on it. Ugh, love the Moomins. Okay, those of you who have watched the Moomins or experienced it, please tell me who your favorite Moomin character is. Mine is Snufkin, because I love the idea of this little guy in a hat who just travels. I've had to move around a lot, so I relate to that, but he always, like, he has a nice family to come back to if and when he wants that. I think I just crave that freedom. And also, he can play the harmonica. He's a creative guy. Like, that's awesome. I do not have a Snufkin Moomin cup yet, and it is probably the biggest Moomin-related regret that I have was buying a different Moomin cup, one that wasn't Snufkin themed. These are hyper-specific problems, but if you get it, you get it. If you don't, thank you for tolerating my stream anyway. Chris, yes, video exclamation point. It is happening. I'm really tempted because, like, literally, like, there are drawers, on the side of my desk that I can't alter my camera to show you, and I'm so tempted to be like, the thing I am painting is in that drawer, and I want to, like, show it to you as a preview, but I don't want people to be like, oh, I've already seen this now, it's not going to be as exciting in the video, you know? So I think I'll keep it secret, but it is there. Yeah, he looks like a hippo, but hippos are not, they're not hippos. They have an episode where they're like, we are not hippopotamuses, but they do resemble them, yes. The white scrooms rock? Oh man, okay. Are they like the little wiggly ghosty boys? Because if they are, I think I know what you're talking about. And if they're not, there's several other characters that they could be. And I'm excited to figure out what they are in, This is so exciting for me. I love this. Like, if I was so casual about Moomin stuff that I could just acquire it, it would be everywhere. This painting cup would not be a cut-off water bottle. It would be just a spare Moomin glass. They're called... Okay, so we are thinking of the same thing, and I'll confirm it. I have a cup with those guys on it. Hang on. I think it's clean. I'll be right back. It is not clean, of course. I used this one today to drink tea out of, so I don't have it. I don't have it! Hang on. We can make this work. I'm gonna do an artist rendition. Right? I went to art school. I can do this. I can do this. Hell yeah. Alright. We're gonna set our Vulture aside for a moment. Just a moment. Alright. They're these guys, right? That's the thing you're thinking of? From the Moomins? He looks like that? I think that's a pretty good 3-second painting of what these things look like. If that is correct, the English name, at least for the translation that I've seen of the Moomin cartoon, they're called Hattie Fatteners, which I don't really think is a real word. I think it's just something that they made up. But they're cool as hell. I like them. I have a little orange cup with Hattie Fatteners on them. And, like, for those of you who don't know what the Moomins is, first of all, consider spending, like, 20 minutes of your life watching an episode of the Moomins on YouTube. You will feel more wholesome afterwards. I particularly recommend Moomins episode 7, The Invisible Child, I think it is. It's either 7 or 8, but it's the best one. It's just a good time. It's cute and cozy, and comforting, and just makes you feel better about stuff. I don't know. Just watch the Moomins. It's 2022. Experience something cute. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Josh. Yep. Yep, absolutely. I understand that. There's like thousands of these little ghost things in the Moomins on this island. And they just like are attracted to electricity or something. They just like wiggle around. They don't hurt anybody. The Moomins are a little bit scared of them at first, but they're chill. Sometimes they row a boat, which is really cute. Or they try to steal a barometer from this old man named Mr. Hemulin. It's a good time. You know, if you're into random adventures, it's just... It's got, like, the same sort of rambling, but ultimately cute tone as, like, your Winnie the Pooh cartoon kind of would, I would say. But cooler than, like, you know, comparing it to any other cartoon, is that Tove Jansson, the creator, she was a queer woman, so that's really cool. Like, I think they did a biopic film of her recently, but, like, yeah, she is, one of the LGBTQ plus, and we love that. We're always happy to support that on this channel, especially with the freaking legacy that she had. Non-problematic fave, Tove Jansson. Hi, GMJ! You're not too late. We are discussing cartoons once again. I think that is just something that it's gonna come up a lot. And I'm telling people that if they haven't seen the Moomins, they should see the Moomins. And if they have seen the Moomins, to tell me who their favorite Moomins character is. And then I have decided that after this stream, I'll be watching the first episode of Archive 81, and that will be the next series we try on the reoccurring segment of Will Hector watch this show, and does he think it is as good as The Witcher? It's riveting. Yes, you did hear Moomins. Ah, okay. Jamming Haze, are you from Finland? Like, is this just all, like, stuff that everybody knows because, obviously, it's just a part of Finnish culture. I'm enjoying the different names. That's quite fun. Yes, you did hear Moomins. We are talking about them. I am an avid Moomin fan, which is not... Yeah, Green Hat Dude! The Green Hat Dude, his name is Snufkin in America. He's my favorite. He's my favorite. I love him so much. He's got the life that I wish I had, where he's content to just travel around in a tent and run away from his problems when he needs to. And everybody just thinks he's, like, really cool. I wish that was me. Moomins versus Witcher fandom wars. Unfortunately, that's not even a contest in this house if we're playing the What Will Hector Watch game, because Hector has no interest in cartoons. I tried to play the Aristocats for him today, because I have my little VHS TV in my kitchen, so anytime that I'm cooking, I have that going, just because I apparently cannot sit and wait for water to boil. I just have to have something happening. So we were watching the Aristocats today. And, yeah, no interest in that whatsoever, unfortunately. Does not like cartoons, this boy. I know, how could I be me, the person who loves cartoons, be raising a son who cares not a whit for them? I don't know. Yeah. Hector, ugh, cartoons are for kids. He's around somewhere. I'm sure that little ham will be out to get some pets before the end of this stream. He seems to know anytime that I'm on camera. But he's probably happy right now because I'm doing the routine. He expects me to be painting at this hour, so I'm allowed to do that. If it gets too late, he will come bully me into stopping so that I can do the bedtime activity, like he's used to that, so he wants to stay on the schedule. Oh, okay. The finish. Ooh, oh man. Jamming Haze. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get Snufkin his correct name and finish. That's a lot of letters. Oh, I'm gonna try. Is it? Oh, geez. Okay, we're gonna go for it. That's a long ass word. Nuskamoy Kunin? Nuskamoy Kunin? We'll see. I don't think that's right. I don't think my finish is there. But I gave it a shot. We tried. It's like a chewing tobacco or fish of some kind. Interesting. Interesting. I could see that. That's quite interesting that they all kind of have, like, it never occurred to me that their names were just not like, like people's names, that they all meant something. It's pretty cool. I love this. Insider knowledge about the Moomins makes me happy. Like, literally. And the Moomins didn't start as, like, an animated TV series. I can show you what they started as. I have that. I know where that is. We're talking Moomins. I don't know why I didn't just grab this in the first place. Apparently I'm dumb, but we got this. We got this. We got the drip, as the kids say. Look at these. It's got a cat on the cover, so you know I'm already here for it. Beautiful end papers, and just comic after comic. I've read this book like 40 times. They started as like a newspaper comic. And they're just such clear little lines, fun little scripts. They caused a bunch of mischief, if I recall. That guy's such a Chad. Yeah, but that's my Moomin book. Every house should have a Moomin book, I think. But there he is on the back. That's my favorite character. You can see why. Immaculate vibes. Great hat. Just chilling. Enjoying life. He's got like 60 apples and grapes on his hat. Nothing is wrong with his life right now. Love this. I love that I can talk about the Moomins for 20 minutes and people are you're just a captive you're not even a captive audience. You could be leaving, but you're not. You're here for this. I appreciate it. I'm sure that, like, I've seen streams before where people are like playing games and they talk about the game that they're playing. I'm not talking about the miniature that I'm painting. There's not enough lore about Gobsprak, who is the model, to talk about for 40 minutes, I don't think. Maybe there is. Definitely not for 2 hours, or 3 hours, or however long this is going to last. But could I cry about the Moomins? Yes. Yes, I could. GMJ, have you watched the Moomins? Please tell me. I would like to know. Is this something that you vaguely heard of and you've never experienced before? Or are you on the up and up? Did you already know about this? Similarly, I don't know if Goober is still here because I don't know how to check. I don't know what button to click to be like, oh, these are the people watching your stream. But Goober, you said Moomins and then did not tell me who your favorite Moomin character was. So if you're still here, I would like to know. I'm launching an interrogation. I only even recently started using my Moomin cups because I was just like, these are precious, and if I break one, I'll be sad. And then my friend Adam was like, LOL, you dumbass, just enjoy the things that you buy. Like, use the cups that you have, because if you don't use them, you will just die and never have drunk tea or lemonade or anything worth drinking in this world out of your Moomin cups. And I was like, at first I was like, LOL, no, I still just don't want to break them. But now that I'm in my own house, I, like, get it. I get it. Yes, you love Snufkin because he's an anarchist. Correct answers only. Hell yes, Goober. Very good. Very good. Close enough. With the laughing emoji, which means no. Absolutely not. You know nothing of Moomin's lore, but you've seen the characters and find them very cute, correct? And Nick says your greatest Halloween ever was the time you went as drunk Snufkin. Oh my gosh. That sounds like a great costume. Honestly, fantastic. Immaculate vibes. 10 out of 10. That is grounds for a properly good Halloween. Specialized gift stores in Helsinki on every corner for Moomin stuff? Oh man. Dude, bro. You can't be out here tormenting me like that. You know how many Moomin stores we have in America? Because I'll tell you, it's a grand total of 0. And I'd trade you, like, what kind of America stores you want? You want some, I don't know, what do people think that is from America that's cool? You want some, like, Chuck E. Cheese's? People are into Five Nights at Freddy's. I'll trade you, like, 80 Chuck E. Cheese's for one Moomin store, okay? That is the ratio of animatronic pizza places to Moomins that I think would be fair. You're painting, I am painting, I assume someone else is painting. You know what? You're right. I was supposed to be going to my local gaming store for Paint Club tonight, and I did not have a ride. And I didn't want to try that hard to organize one, I'm not gonna lie. It was snowing this morning, and so it's cold out. Yeah, I didn't want to go outside anyway. So I'm pretty happy that I could just be like, yeah, I'll just stream. People will come. They'll hang out. And then, like, if I play music, I get to pick the music and stuff like that. So this is my painting club tonight. Died without drinking from the Moomin cup. It would be. It would be so sad. KFC. Oh, you want a KFC? You can have as many KFCs as you want in exchange for a Moomin store. Nick, don't even talk to me because, like, no, I'm sorry. You're welcome at this stream. Please talk as much as you want. But Japan gets all the cutest merchandise for the Moomins. They got Moomin's kitchen stuff. There's a little pot with the Moomins on it that you can boil water and cook stuff in. Do you know how much more my life would be improved? Probably not at all, let's be real. But do you know how much more I would smile every time I went to my cupboard if the pot that I made spaghetti in was just had the Moomins on it? Like, I would cry every day with joy because there it is, little cooking pot, and it's got Moomins on it. Okay, Hector's telling me to rein it in, that I've been maybe a little too passionate about the Moomins. Have I? Have I, baby? Okay, yeah, I've talked too much about how something other than you is cute, and you can barely stand it. I understand. You're a ham. Specialized Sanrio stores from when you were a kid in America. Yeah, it does kind of have, like, some Hello Kitty vibes in that they put everything on it. Better than Hello Kitty, though. Sanrio has much cooler characters than Hello Kitty, in my opinion. Because, like, the Lazy Egg is a big win for me. That guy is my mood. Love him. But then I found out they have, like, this fish. They've got, like, a fish that's just a dude. Like, he's just a little fish man. I don't remember what his name is. I saw a picture of him. He's, like, a teal blue. I don't own any of his merchandise, but I tell you what. If that was readily available in America, I would probably have that little fish guy on some stuff. It's pretty cute. Also, let's not get me started because we all know that I like the animes a little bit, and clearly Japan has the anime, like, merchandise market on lockdown. Not to mention, there are so many Japanese foods that I would like to try. I'd love to go to Osaka. I saw a video one time about there's this like place there that somehow takes like a soft-boiled egg and puts it inside the head of a tiny octopus, like a really, really small octopus on like a lollipop stick, and you can just eat that. And I don't know what that would taste like, but I have to know. I would really like to experience that at some point. And a lot of, like, Japanese desserts, they just look so cute. I don't know if they taste good, but they look so cute. And Japanese roll cakes, out of this world. Absolutely no comparison. They're fluffy, the filling is great, whipped cream, immaculate, could eat them, like, every day. Yeah. Absolutely. Without my Moomin cup, I'm just an empty vessel. I should show you the Moomin cups that I have. It's just some of them are in the dishwasher. So, and I checked and it was like on heated dry. And I didn't want to open it up and then burn my hands trying to carry Moomin ceramic over to this table, for you to see them. But, you know what? Follow me on Patreon, and I will post some photos of my Moomin cups, and you can see them there, and I will show off my Moomin collection, and that'll be our insider, little thing. Also, if you do want to support me on Patreon, even for just $1 a month, with my new video, there is a bonus STL file for a miniature that will be provided to every single one of my patrons. So you will be getting something unique and cool out of that. But also, it will just be a gallery for me to show off my Moomin objects to anyone who shows a passing interest in them. Your brother loves Choco Cat. I used to love Choco Cat as a kid. I wanted a Choco Cat plush so bad, and my parents would not buy me one. I also wanted Neopets plushies really bad, and I got a few of those. But mostly they were the toys from McDonald's. But I would have definitely sold my soul at some point in my life for a Neopets plushie. Even as an adult, there's a part of me that wants, like, a Neopets sweatshirt, just so that when I go out into the world, the people that know, like, can identify that Neopet will be like, that motherfucker's wearing a Neopets sweatshirt. And the people who also played Neopets way too much into their childhood, they would be like, oh wow, you're cool. You've not heard of the fish guy? Ah, that's okay. I'm sure there's like 600 million Sanrio characters that I've never heard of either. I wouldn't worry about it. Come visit and teach you how to paint? Absolutely. Absolutely. I'd love to go to Japan. It's on my bucket list of things to do. I'm really looking to travel more. I've got some buddies in Ireland that I have to go see first, but Japan's on my list of places to visit. But Nick, if you can speak Japanese and show me around so I'm not the most lost person on Earth, definitely. be happy to visit. I will bring all of my painting knowledge, limited as it might be. I can get you any Games Workshop models that you might struggle to get in Japan. I don't know how good their miniature scene is, but we can definitely do a Warhammer for anime and Moomin merchandise exchange. I will be getting the better end of that deal because I just love everything cute, and I don't think Games Workshop makes nearly as many cute models as they could. Like, guys, we need to talk about how they tried to make a Nurgle plush and a Squig plush, like things that should have been so easy to make cute, and instead they made them look horrible. Like, I'm the easiest person to market a plush toy to. Do you know how many Mothman plushies I own? So many. So many. You should have been able to sell me a Squig plush, no problem, GW. And you forked it up. It did not turn out good. And it's sad to see. I wish, GMJ, I wish I had thought to do a Moomin STL. It is not a Moomin STL, unfortunately. I think it's got a little bit... Actually, you know what? It's probably got narrow appeal. I was about to say something had more appeal than a Moomin STL, which was dumb as fuck to say, because who doesn't love the Moomins? That has experienced it and had the opportunity to check it out. But I don't think I could legally sell that in any way. That's kind of a copyrighted thing that belongs to a person I respect a lot, so I wouldn't go into the Moomin STL direction. However, if you find a Moomin STL, I'll paint it. It would be pretty easy to paint a Moomin, because he is all white, and then you just put some little pupils on his eyes. You're almost finished printing your friend's Viking Sisters of Battle army, and they look so rad. Yes, hell yes. Goober, you are one of my patrons. Send me photos when they're done. I would love to see them. Be very, very excited about it. Or, you know, if you have, like, an Instagram that you want me to, like, share it to my story or something like that, too, that would get you some follows, let me know. I would love to see that. Love to see that. Yeah, GMJ wants to see it, too. So don't keep that to yourself. You gotta share that with the world, because that's rad as hell. Japan got manga stuff. Games Workshop is British? Question mark? Yeah, it is. And you like Gundam figures, too. I really want to try a Gundam figure. I don't know when I will. But, we'll get there. I have an idea. I just have to... There's a very specific Gundam that I want to use for this idea, and it's not because I've, like, watched the anime or know anything about it. It's just because the silhouette is great, and the shapes work for... I have this pizza Gundam that I want to make because, of course, I fucking do, because I'm me. But yeah, there's a specific Gundam that works for it, but it's currently out of print. So I either gotta pay somebody too much money for it on eBay, or just suck it up and wait for it to come back into print. But considering how many projects I currently have on my plate that I want to do, I'm just gonna try and finish some of them before I'm like, Gundam madness. But you should check out, if you haven't ever watched my buddy Liam over at Millennial Model Mayhem, he does Gundams, like, all the time, and they look great. And he told me some stuff about Gundams, and it's helped me figure out some Gundam stuff. So, he's pretty smart about that kind of shit. I don't know too much. I know Gundams have some really fun names. Like, there's one called a Goof, I think, which is just, like, how you getting away with that when Disney has Goofy probably trademarked to hell and back. But yeah. Gundams seem pretty cool. You got home from vacation, getting back to painting with your normal brushes. So much easier to control. Yeah, if you were using brushes you're not used to, it's good to get back to the stuff you like and just be like, oh yeah, this is the good shit. Gundam are getting cooler. They make a lot of different kinds now. I think, you know, I when I first saw people building them, I tended to just call them all Transformers, which is very, like, reductive of what the Gundam hobby is and, you know, stuff like that. But they're definitely not all Transformers. We have learned, we have evolved, we're getting there. Getting there. Japanese YouTuber called Sanusuke. She paints Gundam and Warhammers. Good stuff. Okay, I will check her channel out. I would be happy to. Thank you for the recommendation. Gotta run. It's been a blast. Thank you for joining us, Chris. I appreciate it. Always good to have you here. I will be streaming again soon, so I hope you can make that one as well. Animes, not animals, typos. Yeah, that happens. Autocorrect is the enemy of me constantly, so don't feel bad about it. I make so many typos all of the time. All of the time. Oh man, we've been painting for an hour and 40 minutes, and it does not look like we have made much progress on these wings. Oh, this is gonna take forever and a day. Oh, Fives, why do you do this to yourself? Fucking hell. I do it because it's gonna look cool, and I know that in my brain, but oh man, sometimes you really regret the choices you make after you make them. And there's no going back. Like, these wings look so much fucking cooler with the stripes. We're not reversing, you know, course here. We're just regretting that the course that we chose is gonna take 47 years to get from point A to point B. That's the regret. In the end, it will have been worth it. I mean, I should have guessed that there'd be crossover between fans of my channel and fans of the Moomins, because clearly if y'all spend your time watching my videos, you have taste. But it is nice to know. It's nice to know. Jealous, though, of anyone who has better access to Moomin merchandise than me. It's not fair. You don't understand. Finish. Just taking it for granted. You've never had to window shop on the Moomin store and been like, dang, if the shipping wasn't $40, I'm about to spend my paycheck on a lot of little knickknacks that I don't need. My friend did buy me one of the stores near her. I think they're like one of those stores that gets in merchandise from Japan. And there was a Moomin bank shaped like Moomin Troll. And I have that, and I put all my spare change in it. And it's very cool. Just a little ceramic Moomin chilling in my kitchen. Love him. I really just want to do a proper Moomin showcase right now. But I am a disciplined hobbyist who will continue to sit at their painting desk because that is what I need to do. Put the hours in. Unfortunately, this miniature does not seem to want to paint itself, no matter how many times I've asked very politely for it to do so, considering the amount of detail it seems to want. Do you ever talk to your models when you're painting them? Like, I need to know that somebody else besides me does that. Thank you for your input, Hector. I appreciate it. Your comments to the Peanut Gallery are duly noted. Oh, I see. You've gotten into mischief while I was gone. You've gotten into my crochet things, haven't you? There is a string of yarn dragged all the way across my floor from Hector, because he seems to think that when I play with yarn to make, you know, art, to make this blanket that I've been working on, that means he also gets to play with yarn. except he wants to chew on it and drag it across the floor. So that's what little Beeps has been up to. Surreptitiously causing a bit of a tangle behind me that I will clean up after this stream. He's a little chaos machine today. He's been sassy lately. He also thinks that I should be waking up at 6 o'clock and not 6:30, which is when he comes in and puts his little paw on my face like 3 times. Very gently, mind you. He does have soft little baby kitten paws. But he's like, it is time to wake up now. And I'm like, Hector, please give me 30 more minutes to sleep as my alarm has not gone off yet. He's like, no, I think you should be awake now. Which, you know, if you ever want something that will keep you on a schedule, get yourself a cat like Hector, because literally he is so easily able to regulate my sleeping schedule just because he's grown accustomed to it. Things like weekends are unfortunate to try and explain to this cat, who does not like me to stay in bed past 9 on a weekend day, but it is good for my mental health, I think, to have somebody so eager to help me out on my schedule every day. I'm obviously not going to register Hector as a therapy animal because he is not one and has not been trained. But I think in another life, if someone had applied themselves to his training, he could have been a therapy cat solely based on the fact that he loves schedules and routines, not because he has any brains at all in that sweet little head of his. He's a dumb little baby, but he is my dumb little baby. Do any of you have cats? I feel like I just kind of assume that everybody who paints has a cat, but that might not actually be the case at all. Oh, Josh, anticipating my question. Excellent. Your cats wake you up at 5 a.m. for wet food on the weekends, so you know my pain. Yes, you do. Absolutely. What are your cats' names? That is my favorite question to ask people. I told the lady at Petco, who asked the other night what my cat's names were, because she asked, and I told her Lobster Thermidor and Hector Barbosa, and she was like, those are 2 of the best cat names I've ever heard. I love when people can, you know, recognize that, that game recognizes game. She had named her cat Sokka after, Sokka from Avatar: The Last Airbender, which I think is also a pretty good cat name. Right, you've told me. Samuel, Tarly the cat, Oliver, and Samantha. I need cat pictures. I need to put cat faces to the cat names, Josh. You've told me this like 6 times. I'm so sorry. I've forgotten you, your cats, over and over. That's not cool of me. You, Josh, on Instagram, just send me some photos of your cats. You can DM me. I would love to see them. I want to see their cute little kitty faces. I bet they're adorable. You have a cat. Her name is Dolly. She's very nice. Excellent. Is she named after Dolly Parton? Or does she just have the name Dolly organically? Because either way, a queen. But very cool. Your daughter wakes you up at 6 on the dot on Saturdays. It is not good for your mental health. Fair enough, Nick. Fair enough. Yeah, I imagine kids are even harder to distract from needing to do activities than cats. You kind of can't just pour a kid a bowl of cereal the same way you can make, you know, a bowl of kibble or wet food for your cat and then be like, all right, you entertain yourself with this. I'm going back to sleep. Oliver after Oliver Twist, sure, and Samantha after Bewitched. Okay, very cool. Oliver Twist is, that's one of those classic classic stories that I had to read in school. I remember doing that. Bunnies and bugs are cool. They just make a lot of chewing noise. Bunnies like to eat wires. Cats also like to eat wires. So, I've not fully escaped from that problem. Do you have bunnies and bugs both? Like what kind of... I know bunnies, you know? But what kind of bugs can you keep as a pet? I suppose like a tarantula, but are there like rhinoceros beetles or some other kind of bug that you have as a pet? Mr. Lord Samuel Tarley the cat, obviously Game of Thrones, yes, of course. I loved the trend of everybody naming their pet Khaleesi. I thought that was really fun. Unfortunate how that all ended, but I still think it's a fun name. I see it appearing on, like, you know, pet adoption websites that I don't need to be looking at because I definitely don't need a third cat, even though I kind of casually want a third cat, but I'm not going to adopt a pet right now. I see that a lot, and I'm like, that's a cool name. She just has the name Dolly. Yeah, that's cool. It's a good name for a cat. I like it. I like it a lot. I like it, and I like these feathers. These are good. I feel like this is better candy vibes than it was before. Like, you compare this side to that. That, you know, that has, if nothing else, that's got, like, Claire's / limited 2 from the mall look to it. Hey! You are not supposed to be scratching the new couch, Hector. We've talked about this. You've already scratched up the couch in my bedroom. If you have to scratch a couch, scratch the old one. Don't get a third cat, jump straight to a fifth cat. Well, my name is Fiver, so having 5 cats would make that make sense in another way. That is dry onto the brush. Young animals like to chew anything. Yeah, that's true. You have all kinds of bugs. Stick bug, giant friend, bought it, they bought it from you from the pet store. Interesting. Okay. Stick bug. That's cool. I do have a friend in Finland that I met at a conference forever ago when we were like kids. Like, I think I was like maybe 12 and she was maybe 8. So like we've been Facebook friends since then or whatever, but we don't talk often. She does have the most beautiful Norwegian forest cats ever. They're just gorgeous. And she's named them Dean and Castiel, like from Supernatural, which is hilarious to me. But those are some absolutely gorgeous cats. And they're like, they go outside and stuff on little harnesses. They're adventure cats. I'm jealous of her cats. I'm not jealous in like, I would trade my cats for hers kind of way, because obviously I wouldn't do that, but they are beautiful to look at. Big, fluffy kitties with huge, huge round eyes. No, I'm not gonna get a 5th cat, and I want to kind of make sure all my bills get sorted out and are payable before adopting any other animals, because vet expenses are definitely a thing you have to factor in. Lies, Mr. Sam is the prettiest of the Norwegian forest cats. Fair enough, fair enough. I've not seen Sam. I would like to. I have to reserve judgment. I do see that I just got an Instagram message, so if that was you sending me a photo of your cat, please know that my phone is being used as a camera, thus I cannot go and look at it, because I will then scroll through cat pictures for the next however many you send me in a row. And I need to finish this, you know, before the tournament. So we can't have that level of distraction on the stream. I have to wait till after the stream to then go look at the cat pictures. I know, Hector, it isn't fair. It isn't fair. The only cute cat in this house has to be you all the time, doesn't it? It does? Yeah. You're a ham. You're a ham. He knows. He knows when I'm talking about other cats. I can tell. Oh, yeah, of course. Do it while you're thinking of it. Like, I'd much rather you do it now and I see it later than you be like, oh, I'll be nice and wait until after the stream, and then you forget to send me cat pictures, and then we start this whole what are your cat's names process over again. Because I want to remember my followers' cats. I feel like that is, that's an important thing for me to remember to do. Also, I don't think she's here tonight. On this stream, but Olivia, if you are here, hi. If you're watching this back, thank you for all of this. I mentioned that I loved this specific paint color from Reaper, and you sent me every bottle of it that you have. I will never run out of this now, and that means a whole hell of a lot to me. Because this is the color that I used for my 40k orcs that I ran out of. And now I have 6 bottles of it? That's dope as hell. Thank you. I seriously can't communicate to you how much it means to me that I have the color that I need my army to be again. It makes me want to paint 40k orcs, which I haven't wanted to paint in forever. I'm very excited about it. Yeah, it's just their breast cancer. Like, Reaper Bones gives it away for free during the month of October. I guess, with their orders. And when I first got into, like, miniature painting, because, you know, I was like, oh, minis are kind of expensive. And then I saw Reapers and I was like, oh, these are cheap as hell. I'll just buy some of these for D&D, you know? As you do. And I happened to buy them in October and I got that thing of pink. And I didn't think anything of it. So when I started painting my first Warhammer army, my orcs for 40k, I was just like, yeah, well, of course, I'll just use this pink because I like it the best. It's a good pink. Not realizing that, you know, maybe why do I keep using this pink? I don't need this one. I'm just wasting that by squeezing it out. Gosh darn it. I need this pink. Sorry, you just heard me mutter about paints while painting. But I kept using that pink, and I realized that I was, you know, slowly running out of it. But I had already chosen it to be my army color, and I tried to, like, contact Reaper and be like, hey, I really like this color. Can I get more of it somehow? Like, is it just another color that's repackaged, like, with the breast cancer month thing? And I never heard back from them or anything. And, like, it wasn't for sale anywhere, and I checked eBay, and no one there even had it listed, so I was just like, I mean, for the longest time, I just kind of thought that it was like a limited time thing that they did for like a year or something. You know, because that makes sense. They had old pink paint. They just gave it away. That's still cool. But I was like, I'll just have to find an approximation for it. And I'd been trying. Like, you know, I would take my orcs to the store with me and try and hold it up and match the color and everything. But nothing was quite the same shade of pink, so there was that. But yeah, now I have a whole vault of it, a gold mine of of pink paint. That's the color for my orcs. I mean, nowadays I'm smart and I just use colors that I know are gonna be readily available to me for army color schemes. But yeah, having that much of a color that is a significant one for my army sure means a lot to me. Because I did like the base rims in that color pink too, and now they really can all match and it'll look good and I'll just be happy. It's wholesome. Yeah, so I have 6 bottles of that now plus, and if you want to know what that color pink looks like, that is the pink that we base coated this vulture with. Like, I was so confident now that I have more of it that I'm just like, hell yeah. Stuff I like, it gets to be this purpley pink color. The one that I like the most. My favorite of all the pink paints that I own. And I own quite a few pink paints at this point, so yeah. I love that I get to not have to hoard it for my orcs now, too. I can use it for any project that I honestly think it would be the right color for. Which I did here. So, yeah. It's good times. Good times. You use that pink for Skaven rat tails? I can see that. Yep. Definitely. Definitely. My friends have all been talking about Skaven recently, and they all have to do, like, their best impression of a Skaven clan rat voice when they talk about it. Some of them, eerily good at it. Like, sir, is everything in your life okay? Because you may have done that impression of a rat man just a little too good, and I already know that you like cheese a good deal, and, like, are you human, or are you rat man? Let's find out. Let's see. I'm not sure anymore. You shaving your whiskers off every morning? You got like a hoard of warp stone in your house somewhere? Let's talk about that. Yeah, let's see. I have to go a week without, there's no Blood Bowl this week, and there's no Age of Sigmar this weekend, so this is like my week without gaming, which is weird for me, because I had games like the past 2 weeks in a row, and I'm just like, oh man, I want some games now. I got this itch after losing that Age of Sigmar Heartbreaker. I just want to, like, replay that game and get the win. It's killing me. Killing me. I want to just, I know, like, I'm friends with the guy who, was my opponent, and I just want to be like, yo, I want to replay that game exactly the same. And see if it comes out different, but you can't do that, you know. The game is over, and you gotta move on, and I've gotta, you know, get my points upgraded and all that stuff, cause I still have to finish painting those orcs that we assembled together on the stream. Well, I say we. You guys gave me moral support. I cried, and got my fingers stuck together with super glue. And messed up assembly. So, you know, a normal day of assembly for me. Probably slightly tragic to watch for those experienced hobbyists among us who actually know how to put a miniature together. But yeah, I crave that game of Age of Sigmar to redo so bad. Oh man, it's like a level in a video game that I want to replay, except I can't because I played it against a real person. I'm hungry for it. I got a taste for victories, and now I want more of them. So yeah, there's no gaming this week, but gaming next week, I'm going in. Everybody will be at their highest point values, so Wins, like, probably will feel the most satisfying at that point. And I really can't wait to see if I can pull any last wins in, because I'm currently 6th in the league. Okay, 6th, which means if I win enough and the person in front of me loses enough, Fiverr can finish at 5th in the league, which I feel like is the perfect spot for me to end up in, for obvious reasons. All right, Josh, thank you so much for joining me on this stream. It was great having you here. I'm definitely going to be watching Archive 81. Just want to get a few more, probably like a half hour more or so in on this Vulture, and then I'll be giving that a watch and letting you know what I think. You have a good night. Hope to see you back soon. But yeah, I'm hungry for that win. I'm gonna try and get it. We'll see. I'll let you guys know how it goes. I don't know if anyone's kind of invested in how I do in my own very small local escalation league, but boy, anyone who asks me about it's gonna get an earful, because I'm getting really, really into it in a slightly more competitive way than I expected to. So it's exciting, which is good. Hopefully being hyped for my local games will also keep me hyped up for the tournament that I'm going to be going to. I'll just ride that hype train. Be good. Just trying to get all of the striations that I want on here to add to that kind of like candy stripe texture. I have a huge temptation to varnish this mini in like a mostly gloss varnish, or just go in with a brush and go over the Vulture in gloss varnish, just so that he can be like shiny, like he's actually made out of candy. And I don't know if that's a dumb idea or a good idea, but it's certainly an idea that is sticking in my mind, like something I might want to do. Because, you know, lollipops are kind of shiny, so it would make sense if he were shiny too. I think it could work. I don't know if one bottle of Ard Coat is going to get me enough to gloss an entire Vulture, but it could. It could work in theory. We could see if it works in practical application. I still don't think the judges of this painting competition are quite ready for the madness that I will unleash upon them when I plonk this in front of them. But, I just hope that it's seen as, like, a valid miniature painting method, I guess. Like, it's not like I don't try on my miniatures, I just don't paint them with the box art schemes or realistic colors, so hopefully that'll count for something. Would I be better off using a spray varnish for that? Probably. But then there are some places that I want to be matte and not shiny. So I don't know if I have the dexterity to kind of figure out how to get some parts to be matte and some parts to be shiny. Lobster, you almost stepped in paint once again. You didn't. You barely avoided that. But one of these days you're gonna step in paint and get it all over my walls. Sprinkle some glitter there too. No, I will leave the glitter solidly in the hands of my friend who does paint Slaanesh models and has used glitter glue on them. I feel like she's just way more chaotic about it than I could ever be. and therefore she has won the right to use glitter glue. Although, I think it's Guy from Midwinter Minis, right, who did the holographic nail art flakes on his Tyranids, I want to say? Maybe they were Gene Stealers. And he did it on, like, some Eldar, too, I think. He did something with holographic nail art flakes that looked insanely cool. So, like, there's definitely some good applications for glitter. What I really want to add to these guys, because, like, I don't know how much Cruel Boys lore you guys know. But it says that, like, the Cruel Boys in the book are really into, like, there's a faction of them called the Skullbugs, which is spelled Skullbugz. So obviously, even though their rules are not as good as the Shining Blades or the Big Yellers faction, the name Skullbugs alone is worth what I lack in gaming usability for them. You've got to go back to work. Glad you could catch your stream at last. The Vulture looks superb. Thank you so much, Nick. You enjoy your day at work. Thanks for stopping in and for making me jealous about your access to Moomin merchandise. You're always welcome at these streams. I hope I see you again. I really do. What was I talking about? I got distracted somehow. Said you were leaving. What was I talking about, Lobster? My cat looks very sleepy. He's definitely forgotten. Talking about glitter. Oh, right! I was talking about Skullbugs being the faction for my orcs. But in the rule book it says that, like, they hang out with and train bugs. And, like, other orcs think they're weird because they're just like, yo, man, why are you just letting these centipedes crawl over you? And the Skullbugs just are, like, the weird goth kids at the lunch table that, you know, they're just kind of shrugging, jamming out to their own thing. They don't really care. But I would love to find a way to put tiny gummy worms on their bases, too. So I think I've got to, like, go to, like, a dollar store or a craft store and see if I can find some, like, plastic centipedes or something. And probably the centipede itself will be too big, but I imagine if I just cut off the legs to use as worms, I could get some gummy worms on these bases. And I'd love to see if there's some kind of dust or powder or something that I could apply to get it to, like, have that, you know how, like, sour candy has that dust on it that makes it, that lets you know that it's sour? If I could figure out how to do that effect to a miniature, I would do it to some very tiny worms to just stick onto these guys' bases. As another detail in the endless pile of stuff that I am rapidly running out of time to be able to do. When will I be realistic and realize that not all of this is going to be able to come together? Probably never. I don't know if that realization will hit me until I am literally packing up my kit to go to the game store on the day that the painting contest is being judged. I don't know that realization will have hit me at all. I'm not a person who dwells in a very realistic space most of the time. I think that's probably fair to say. But, you know, I've pulled off some paint jobs that I didn't think I was going to be able to. And, like, we got the checkerboard done on this guy. That happened. He has checkerboard everywhere. We got the checkerboard done on the last guy. He's got checkerboard everywhere. If we can do it on some of the models, then, you know, we can finish out these details. We can get it ready to go. the ticket for my tournament includes free entry into all of the painting contests, and like, am I going to win? No. Am I going to place? No. Should I enter anyway just to see how I do? Maybe. Maybe I'll do that. Just so that these very refined judges have to look at my candy paint jobs and be like, oh, that's happening. That is a thing that we are observing right now. I think that would be funny. Not funny in like a bad way, but like, it's got to be compared with the same rubric as any other paint job, and that's kind of interesting. I don't know how painting competitions are judged, but it would be cool to see how I do in one. I'd like to see how I do in one. Gonna find out. That's a little terrifying. I don't think I've ever won an award, thinking back on it. Except for, like, you know, like, participation type award, sure. And I'm sure there are people who are like, oh, you got your participation trophy, that's all you need. But there's some part of you, I think, that always wants to come in first or second or third at something. At something. And it's not like I think I'm gonna come in first or second or third. But I'd like to try. I have really put time and effort and thought into this army. I've created my own lore for them. The paint scheme took some trial and error. Like, no one can say that I haven't tried as hard as anybody else on this army. I just didn't paint it in a very standard way. And I guess I'd just like to see if that kind of can hold its own against people who do paint in more standard and conventionally acceptable ways. I tend to think that the way that showcases skills at actual painting objectively will win the day. Like, there's no way that this mini should ever go toe-to-toe with, like, a Golden Demon winner, like, and win. That shouldn't happen, but I'd like to see how it goes against other people of my relative skill level and see if style counts for anything, you know? I'd like to see, when judged against my peers, if I measure up, I guess is the best summary of that. Obviously, everybody here thinks my minis are, like, super cool, because you're bothering to watch me paint them. And I love having a hype squad. I really do. It's very cool. I don't know any of you personally, so none of you are obligated to say nice things about my miniatures. Or, you know, listen to me ramble about the Moomins. But you're here, and you do, and that's lovely, and it makes me feel very happy. But it's gonna be totally different having, like, a judge who is actually there to be like, yes, this is good, or no, this is bad. See what they have to say about things. It's probably stuff I know. Like, yeah, my line work is shaky, my edge highlights are chunky, but you know what? At the end of the day, it's a lollipop vulture, and that's worth a lot. Makes me smile. It'll be cool to see, you know, where I'm at, like, 5 years from now. A, if I'm still doing this as a hobby. I hope that I am. And B, if my skill level will have increased by then. I hope that it will. You'd like to think, you know, the longer you stay at painting and trying and painting. I mean, you guys see me on stream. I'm painting at least once a week. Usually more than that, and that's just the time that I'm on stream for. I paint more than that. Try to paint almost every night. Putting in the reps eventually, you know, that's gonna pay off. Long-term skills, I think. Amazing what I could do if I applied this dedication to, like, actually something like, you know what? I was gonna say something useful, but I think what I meant was something profitable, and that's the wrong mentality to have. The stuff that I do that's profitable, that people will pay me to do, like, at my job, is not anything I would want to do in my recreational time. I barely want to do it to get paid for it. I just do because, you know, capitalism. So, I don't wish that I was doing something profitable. I think I like what I'm doing right now. Come for the minis, stay for the Moomins. Honestly, maybe that should be the tagline of my next video. I wish I had something Moomin inspired that I could paint. But I don't. I don't own any Moomin miniatures. To my knowledge, there is not a Moomin tabletop game that I could be learning how to play. But you know, maybe one day there will be. I would love a Moomin RPG where it's just like, yes, your job is to solve Moomin Valley's random problems that happen sometimes, but to do so with like a spirit of friendship and kindness as opposed to fear or apprehension. Like, Moomin Valley literally gets invaded by aliens, and those motherfucking Moomins are so chill about it. There's vampires. You know, like, all this stuff happens in Moomin Valley, and instead of them being like, oh, our valley sucks, it gets invaded by aliens and vampires, and there's a hobgoblin sometimes, and this witch who's kind of mean to everybody, they just love their little house. They put up little wallpaper, and they make everybody lemonade and pancakes. Like, their biggest problem was when the Groke came, and their roses were dying and stuff like that, and they were just kind of like, the Groke's spooky, but in the end, that problem got solved too, and not by anybody, like, fighting each other, just by them being nice. I think that's what I like about it so much. All of the problems in the Moomins are solved by people being nice. So if there's a RPG game that comes out, it would just be nice. It would be cute. That is some deep thinking out loud. Yeah, so I've been through, like, a lot of shit, this past few months, and today's actually a pretty special day, because, my healthcare kicked in at my job, so I can finally, get scheduled to see a therapist and deal with some of the stuff that I've been going through. And I'm trying very hard to have a, like, positive outlook on that and not be terrified. Because I've been to some bad therapists before. But I want to trust that this one's not going to be bad and is going to help me with the things that I need. So, yeah. I got signed up for that, and I found someone and got scheduled. Because I'm trying to work on my mental health and be a better person, not for anyone else, but just because I'd like to be a person that I actually, like, me, myself, likes to be around. Which is weird for me. I've never thought about things like that before. I have this one friend who's changed my view on that kind of stuff in general. It's been very helpful. And is really good at being like, hey, you know, this thing that you do, you might want to not do that, because that's not really great for you, and this kind of stuff shouldn't have happened to you. And you should maybe talk with someone about it, because these are things that could get better if you tried at them. So, yeah. I'm very afraid. Very afraid of all of this. It's honestly scary, and it is a larger financial commitment, because even so, I mean, the American healthcare system is super, super broken, and I'm very lucky to have healthcare through my job that will cover for the stuff that I need, but it's also atrocious that I can't just, like, get help for free for stuff that isn't my fault. You know? Like, I didn't ask for any of this to happen to me, so it sucks. But I am gonna try really hard to just get better. And I'm hoping it works out. So, yeah. 2022 is, I'm trying to focus on healing a lot this year, and I mean, it's a shitty time to do so, because, like, the world is like, hey, what if we just continued to set everything on fire constantly? But, you know, I don't know how long I have on this earth, and this happens to be the time in Earth that I live in, and I can't really change that, so I might as well try and make the best of what I have. And that means healing from stuff that I don't want to affect me for my entire life. So that's what we're doing this year. Sorry to get emotional. Apparently, you know, like, I'm gonna just talk about the Moomins some more, because that episode that I recommended to anyone who hasn't seen the Moomins before, The Invisible Child, is like about a girl who has turned invisible because her aunt was mean to her, and she just, like, that was her trauma response, was to just become invisible. And so she goes to live with the Moomins, and they want her to be visible again. And, like, slowly, just by being around good people and getting out of her bad situation, she learns how to stand up for herself and, like, how to have fun and be around good people and have a good time. And everybody is very kind to her, and she becomes visible again. And there's something in that story that is just so sweet and touching and lovely and wonderful, because of course it is. Like, how, that's just such a, it's cute, it's nice, and I relate to it on a deep level, as someone who has definitely felt invisible and pushed aside, from time to time. So, you know, that's a thing. It's just good. You can't choose your, actually, you know, Jamming Haze, unfortunately, I am able to choose my environment now. I was not able to choose how I grew up or who raised me, but I have my own house and live alone now. So I have my environment that I'm slowly, you know, improving. I guess you mean, like, the environment at large, like the world in and of itself and the hellscape that is America. That's fair. I did not choose any of that. But there are things about my environment that I am able to choose now, which is quite nice. Yeah, I mean, fuck. I have a lot of issues with my parents, and, God, there is such a desire in me to have been taken in by Moomins instead of my own family, because there is a gentle patience there that I do not know in real life from many people. So maybe I connect a bit too deeply with that cartoon, but I cannot help that. It is just, it's a good story. It's a good story about how to help people and be kind and shit like that. I think if the people who were supposed to have been patient with me as a kid had been, I would have turned out a little bit better than I did, but you get what you get, you know? And you just gotta kinda grow from it. I have better friends and a better support system now, and, I'm happy with it. Sorry if I made anybody cry or get emotional, but, they say you gotta try and end the stigma about mental health, and apparently my method is getting overly attached to cartoons and rambling about it on the internet to complete strangers. Sorry, guys! Ugh. They are sometimes full of life lessons. That's true. That's true. I think it's kind of like, there are a lot of stories around the time, I think that, Mr. Rogers passed away, of people, like, having gone back, at various points in their life and watched that show. I think every now and again we just want to be kids for like 5 minutes, and to see anything that reminds you of what it's like to be a kid, it's just like, oh yeah, this was some good times. Childhood was what, we were supposed to enjoy for a little while. I really think it's a shame that people forget how to be gentle when they grow up sometimes. It's an undervalued thing. The job I'm going into, and the job I came from, which was the one that was causing me a bunch of mental health problems, they're both customer service roles. And I don't exactly know what happened or why people get the way that they get with customer service people, but I would just love to remind them to be gentle sometimes. Customer service people, none of the problems that you're talking to them about are ever their fault. Like, the chances of you talking to the specific person that may have messed up your file, incredibly slim. The person on the phone trying to help you did not cause the problem 9 times out of 10. Probably like 99.99999 problems 9 times out of 10, Ugh, it's rough. It is rough out there. I'm very thankful that I at least get to work from home and be behind a phone. Because I think if I ever actually had to get back behind a cash register, because I worked retail before a couple of times, in earlier jobs, that is such a hard job to work. And there is not a person on this earth who doesn't think that they could do that job better than you, and not undervalue the work that you are doing. Like, all of the customers who are rude to you are just like, I could do this. And I'm like, ma'am, I don't think you've touched a computer system since ever. Like, no, you could not. But yeah, it's nice to have some soft little world tucked away for those more difficult days, or even just days where you want to feel cozy, that you can return to if you want. Like I said, the other day, I was just like, I would really love to watch the Moomins for no particular reason, and I did, and it was wonderful. It was exactly what I wanted, and didn't know that I had wanted, so yeah, it's a good show. It's very good. They also have a Moomin park in Japan, and I think they have like a Moomin theme park kind of dealy in Finland. And I would like to go at any moment of any day in the future. If this channel ever becomes huge, it won't, and I ever become an influencer, again, I won't. I will be contacting the Moomin company and being like, hey, what do I gotta do so that I can just, like, come chill in your park for, like, 1,000,000 hours? Thank you. It won't happen. But if it did, that would be fun. That would be very fun. I'd do it. I'd paint Moomin miniatures. You're gonna see me say no to a lot of people. If Amazon ever offers me that Audible sponsorship, I'll say no. But if the Moomin company is like, hey, you want to talk about Moomins 24/7 all of the time? You guys are gonna be hearing a lot more about Moomins. Sorry. You can't fault me. I gotta get my collectibles somehow. Some way. Warhammer 40k, Wholesome Necromunda, Gentle Imperium. You know, if anyone was gonna do it, was gonna take Warhammer and make it wholesome, I feel like I may be qualified to step into that role. Actually, that sounds really fun, GMJ. I may run with that concept for something. That would be really fun. Of course, it would just be some sort of sad Imperium propaganda machine in the end, but, you know. I like that idea. Wholesome Necromunda. I don't know how I could do that. I need some Necromunda books. No, I don't. No, stop. Bad. I don't need to. Oh my god, guys. Guys, Hector is in the cat bed. He's never in the cat bed. I'm gonna show you. Look at that baby. Look at the baby in his bed. Now he got out of the bed because I was showing you him being in the bed. Baby, go back. Lie down. You are so cute. No. Okay. You just want love? You want pets? Was it because I was talking about the Moomins? Yeah. I was very sorry. That was an exciting moment. Hector never gets into bed and gets cozy. It was very cute to see. Necromunda books are amazing. Well, I'd kind of expect them to be. Like, you know, no one's really into 40K for the wholesome thing. The whole, you know, grimdark is that's what's kind of selling the universe there, you know? That's what the cool kids are into these days. Just because it's grim dark doesn't mean it has to be grim and dark. Is that just my... No, we're not changing brands. I'm pretty stuck on this whole candy thing, guys. We can't rebrand this as Wholesome Hammer. Maybe we can make Warhammer a little bit more wholesome, but... Yeah. Jeremy, Ghost Bear, hello. Welcome to the stream. I've been crying about the Moomins for 20 minutes. Probably longer than 20 minutes at this point. I need to tell you this idea. If you guys don't follow Ghost Bear on Instagram or any of the social medias, you should. He paints very well, but he does this thing where all of his varnishes are ultra matte, like just the most no shiny thing at all, very matte. And I was telling the stream earlier that because this is a lollipop vulture, as you can see, we've started to put the stripes in on his wings. I was thinking that I should varnish the entire vulture with gloss varnish so that he looks like a candy, because candies are shiny. But I don't know how to do it so that I won't also get like the orc and the goblin who are not supposed to be shiny. It's a slightly cursed concept, I admit, using that much gloss varnish. Especially if I were trying to paint it on, but I think it could work. It's got potential. But it would definitely not fall into your realm of ultra matte. Do the wings glossy? Yeah, I might. And if you're almost saying it, that means I should definitely do it. Ooh, I could mask them off with tape. Or I've seen people use silly putty or tin foil. There's probably a lot of little hobby things. Goober, you use gloss on everything? Hell yeah. That's like the exact opposite of what Ghost Bear does. I love that. Opposing philosophies. I can, yeah, I have brush on, like I have Citadel Ard Coat, I think it is, which is the gloss varnish. But I'm not sure if it would just make like more sense to spray on the gloss, since that's kind of the bigger part of the miniature. I don't know. I usually don't varnish anything. That's the thing. Like all of my minis, except for like 2 metal ones, are just unvarnished. But these ones I know for a fact will have to travel. So I'm like, what do? Should varnish. No should varnish. Still does not varnish. 'Cause, you know, just me. I'm always like, yeah, if the paint chips, I'll just repaint it. And then I just don't notice the paint chipping ever, so. One day when I am not on this earth anymore, I hope whatever futuristic version of eBay Miniature Rescues or some crap like that is, whatever the next iteration in somebody gets old miniatures and wants to repaint them, like, I want Ghost Me to be able to see that process happen. Because I'd love for someone to inherit my candy army and be like, what the actual fuck was this person doing? What drugs were they on? Why did they make a shiny rainbow vulture? Because I'd just like to see what happens after that, you know? I'm very curious about what direction someone would revise this army in if they were like, yeah, we're not doing this. That would be interesting for me to see. But I cannot emotionally handle that while alive, I don't think. It would have to be Ghost Me. And Ghost Bear, already having been a ghost several times, at least can reassure me that there is some sort of miniature painting in the world beyond. You looking at your minis that you did as a kid. I didn't get into this hobby as a kid, and I'm so sad that I don't have any, like, really gunky, terrible minis to look back on and be like, look at this little goober. He was painted in 4 seconds with craft paint from the dollar store because I was really excited about him. Because if I think my concepts now are weird, how weird would child me's concepts have been? They must have been insane. They must have been. And I wish I could tell you that the stripes on the feathers were the last pattern that was going on this goddamn endless array of every fucking pattern type I know how to do. But of course, friends, they are not, because I want to do waffle cone on the horns, the beak, and the feet. And I think then maybe... Oh, and I have to finish the zebra stripes on the goblin's little outfit. And aside from polka dots, which I have not found a place to put them, that will be every pattern that I know how to paint on one miniature. Have I overdone it? I think is maybe the question I should have asked myself 2 hours and 47 minutes ago when I started painting these stripes. And I think at one point I did ask the general audience, is this too much? And none of you responded. You'd spray gloss varnish on the whole thing and then brush on matte varnish to the parts I don't want. That probably makes sense. That probably makes sense. You had friends who painted Eldar, 7-year-old, 133 Dark Elder wet blend were mad? Your wet blend recipe was out of this world, I bet. A kid trying wet blending at 7 years old, that's gotta be a look. You know? It's got some energy to it. It's got vibes. But I don't have the excuse of being young. I'm doing this as a grown-ass adult. If it looks shitty, I have to reckon with the fact that my painting skills are not there yet, and they will get better over time. Which is not always easy to tell yourself. Oh no! Not the contrast paint, that's the expensive shit! Oh, I'm so sorry, GMJ. That's the struggle. I keep worrying that I'm gonna knock over a bottle of paint on the stream, and you're gonna watch, like, all of my Seraphim Sepia just go down the drain while I curse incessantly. I'm gonna curse incessantly anyway, apparently. Do that quite a bit. You don't see it in my videos, but gosh darn, I cannot stop from saying it on my streams at all. At all. Can't excuse your young age. Just blame the tool. To be fair, I mean, some of the paintbrushes I paint with, they get worn to a questionable stage of whether it would be more useful for me to just slop the paint on with my fingers or continue using a paintbrush. Yeah. These army painter ones, Wargamer character painters, army painters, paintbrushes, I like them because they're like a triangle, which feels easier to grip for me. But, I don't take care of my brushes, and the bristles wear out pretty quick. So I go through tons and tons and tons of these, and I really should find a brush that maybe also has a triangular grip for me to have, but I won't go through quite as quickly. Thus far, I've not been able to find a brush like that, but thus far, I've also probably only spent like 3 seconds looking. So I could do a more thorough search. But I think we are going to be wrapping up here. I'm excited to go watch that episode of Archive 81 that our friend recommended. And I have definitely put some work in on this boy. He's coming along. I finished up the pale pink stripes. We got all the objects on the backpack painted in. So hopefully when we put a wash over that, it'll bring out their details and make the highlighting process. Oh god, I have to highlight this whole goddamn thing. Fuck. Okay. Yeah. I'm not gonna think about how much work I still have left to do, because the work we did today looks really good. Like, this little bit of feathers, trying to envision that across the whole guy, it's gonna look really good. We're gonna get there. It's gonna take some time. But we're making it there in the end. And you know, we're up to like what? I think this is Vulture Stream 3, maybe Vulture Stream 4. So we're either at 9 or 12 hours of painting on this guy. And he's coming along. Oh, I'm so sorry, Heck. I didn't see you under there. I didn't see you. I'm sorry, baby. I nudged you with my foot. Do you want to say goodbye to everybody, Hector? We're signing off. You want to do the sign off? You want to do the sign off? Yeah, okay. So Hector says it's time for me to stop painting and pay more attention to him. Thanks everybody for joining us. I will be back sometime later this week to do another stream. I hope you all have a really good night. And Hector does too.